stupid thing.
Oh.
Let that go. And let's see. Patrons are there. Okay, good. All right, and fixing a blued gouge.
Yeah, Matt asked it twice, so I figured,
Better answer him.
him. We should humor the guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got a couple of what's new. Who wants to do the... I guess I'll do that one again. Fine. Mark. That's my name. 2 kickbacks. Easy ones. You got a lumber segment. Lumber news segment.
Hold that a Patreon.
Okay, and voicemails. We got 3 of them. I don't think any of it's really stuff you need to hear ahead of time, so should be okay. And it's good. You guys see the email extra and the weekend show?
Nope.
Go look at it, man.
No.
How you been doing?
I didn't even freaking
Just
look.
came up from the shop.
The email extra is like...
Oh, yeah.
Food safe?
I was
Who
hoping
cares?
we were going to talk about that one.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to clean up some of this because a lot of what he said here is not what I'm going to read. It's only the first one.
Oh, come on.
I'll read the second part. Hold on a second. Or the third part.
It's the email extra. I have to be
Anyone just
super
curious
clean
your
about it.
thoughts?
Who gives a shit?
Whoa!
Say finishes.
You just cursed.
Oops. No, I didn't. I was reading.
Oh, I see.
It's not on my own volition, so it's all right.
Curious about your thoughts. By the way, latest podcast, Woodworker. You'll have I enjoy everything about your show, your individual channels. That I didn't like is the way he commented about his reference to what he did on YouTube to our videos. You see it there?
Oh, yeah.
That is not.
I like it.
You like that? Okay. I'm sure your wife would love it.
You don't want to censor the people.
Yes, I do. I want to censor everybody. Okay. Okay, I will read the part about the underwear. So let me get that stupid part out.
God, it's so ridiculous. I don't even remember that.
Well, you better start thinking
Until
about
he
it.
said it, and then I kind of had this weird recollection of something to do with us talking about giving away my underwear or something. We do some weird stuff on this show.
Hey, don't lump me in with you, man. I'm not responsible for what you do.
I'm pretty sure you were the one talking. You probably brought up this whole underwear thing.
Most likely. I can't disagree with that possibility, but okay.
Holy crap, that must have been a long time ago too.
Yeah, I really don't remember that.
How was the show last week? I haven't bothered to listen to it yet.
It was good. The timing was good on the weekend show. I didn't even think about it. We did a parenting and woodworking thing, and I was like, oh crap, that was actually Father's Day weekend, so the timing on that was perfect. But the shows were good.
That was good.
Considering Bob really doesn't label himself as a woodworker per se, it was definitely a good show. I think he held his own. We tried to keep topics on the things that he would be interested in talking about. So
cool.
I was happy with it.
As a totally biased participant, I liked it.
Yes, our opinions kind of don't matter. Everyone else seems like it. I gotta tell you,
Wistia Fest was pretty awesome. Like everything it's cracked up to be. Because we're gonna go hopefully into a hard position in video at McIlvain. So I was like, hey, I'll get McIlvain to pay for me to go to this thing.
Oh, there you go.
But some of the stuff that they've got in R&D right now, the cost increase for Wistia is tough to swallow. There's some cool stuff coming as far as like automatic transcriptions and like search features by the transcriptions. So somebody could say, I will learn about mortise and tenon, and they'll hit the search function, and it will search the transcriptions and link to the spot in the video or your entire catalog of videos. So from a searchability perspective for like a walled garden type site, what a cool premium feature that would be. And that's like due like 2 months, something like that. That would just be there's a bunch of other stuff that's supposed to make the player even more robust and play faster. And they've increased their infrastructure now that it's like on average, it's like a 2 millisecond ping on everything. So it's like lightning fast. And it's all the cool stuff that makes Wistia a great product. And I guess that's why they can justify now charging more for it. But it's it's tough because
Yeah.
I add like 4 videos a week at this point. So that's $1 a week, which I realize is not that much, but it's going to add up real fast.
It's amazing what you can do when you actually pay for a service instead of a free service. They should be able to do more stuff,
Yeah.
you know. Are you not home? Are you somewhere else? Shannon. Matt.
I'm in Maine.
Matt,
but I'm
Matt,
on
are
a
you
hardwired
hearing this?
connection.
Okay, do you hear the same things I'm hearing? Okay, so your connection is poop right now.
It's choppy. Choppy.
It's very choppy. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's not good.
Yeah, choppy enough that we wouldn't want to do the show like that.
Even now it's choppy? 'Cause
No,
I can hear you
right
guys
this
perfectly fine.
right this second it's fine, but when you were telling your story, it was breaking up a lot.
Keep talking. See
I
if
don't
it
know
still
what to
happens.
tell you.
Tell a story again.
Blah, 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 blah. Story.
Worst case
again.
scenario, we'll kick you off the show.
Invariably.
Invariably, your connection is going to mess up.
I'll just be quiet.
Let's see. How hard is it to kick you off? If I needed to. Remove from group. Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay.
So if you get booted.
Yeah, if you get booted suddenly, it's because you sounded like crap. You just be like, all right, I guess I'm going fishing today.
Ooh, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, he's kind of frozen right now, too. Or he's just not moving. There he is.
tell.
Okay. All right, let's do a show. We've been live for like 5 minutes. People always enjoy this.
Anybody watching this crap?
A couple people.
Oh yeah, look at this. Hello, people watching this.
Hello, ladies.
All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now.
Welcome to Wood Talk. Now here are 3 guys who have chiseled good looks. In their joinery, Mark, Shannon, and Matt.
All right, it's Wood Talk number 391 for June 19th, 2017. On today's show, we're talking about Mark's rusty planes, milling and drying live oak, and fixing a blued gouge. And we want to thank some folks who helped us out over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/woodtalk. We've got James Wallison, Luke Pewterbowl. That's awesome. Jeff Johnson, Justin Hayes, Andrew Reuter, Bill Berg, Josh Mandel, Daniel Zenko, and Brian Egan. Thank you so much for helping us out, folks. We really appreciate the support. And if you want to help out too, you can go to patreon.com/woodtalk, and that's where you find all the information about things you get in return for helping us out. It's a great relationship. It's reciprocated, and we appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. And I think it's time to get to what's on the bench. And you know what? I haven't done a whole lot of woodworking because I've been focusing on a guild upgrade to the website. So that's time consuming. It's kind of a project. It just doesn't involve wood. So John Funk,
That's time consuming.
super time consuming. So John Funk has been busting his butt for like the last few weeks. It's just, you guys know how it is with websites. It's just, it's never just one or two things. You just flip a switch and it's done. It's always like everything's a debacle. So hopefully
things are broken.
yeah, that's what this morning has been all about, is finding everything that's broken. So it is
But
live.
I don't understand. If you've got people that do this work for you, Mark, what's your problem? Are you just like eating bonbons on the couch or something?
I'm actually
Does all that?
there he goes. He's breaking up. So Shannon has a very Skypey, robot-y connection here in Maine.
Robot
I guess
Shannon.
we may have to kick him
That's
off
just
the
my
show.
voice.
Yeah, he's actually changed for the better, I think. Beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, burp. So yeah, I think I got the gist of what you asked. I'm actually I'm John's towel boy in this endeavor. So
Nice.
yeah, when he needs something done, I go do it, or things he knows I can actually do to save time, so he could focus on the deeper development stuff. That's so I help him out. I'm kind of his lovely assistant. That's what it comes down to.
Nice.
Yeah, so it is up, and we are just kind of keeping, low key about it. We're not making any big announcements. Just want to see people use it, make some purchases, and see how things go. But it's looking good. I think it's going to be a whole lot more functional for people and a lot more fun to look at, make it a better experience to utilize the site. So looking forward to that. But I got to get back on these chairs, guys, because I got 5 chairs sitting here, and no one else is going to build them while I'm doing other things, unfortunately. So I've got no choice. I need to get the damn things done. Because, dude, look at the time frame. Matt, I don't know if you've been looking at the calendar.
Oh, it's been chasing me.
Okay, because we're getting awfully close to having our first guild project, like concurrent crossover, where one is still going while the other starts, which is like unheard of in the guild, but it certainly is a possibility this time.
Oh, with 2 people, you kind of It's
Yep.
not as
It's not as bad.
scary as if it was overlapping with the one
With
instructor.
myself. Yeah, that
Would be terrible.
that'd be a nightmare, quite frankly. So yeah, so Matt,
You guys are crossing the streams. I think that's bad news.
you never want to cross the streams. So that's really about it for me. Speaking of this high boy, I actually don't know where you're at with this. Last I saw, you had a couple of boards selected, but
Dude, it was more than a couple of boards.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting with probably, I'm going to say 250 board feet,
whoa,
or even more than that, easily.
jeez,
Probably somewhere around there. I think the cherry that I pulled for the primary wood, I pulled about 100 and, I think it was 120 or 100, somewhere between 120 and 150 board feet of that cherry, because it's one log. So I got all the slices from that log from that cant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'll just pull them all out, and I'll probably end up using, I don't know, almost all of them, but I have like 5 more boards that aren't touched yet.
Okay.
So I have those. Like, I haven't done the selection on the drawer fronts yet for sure. I'll do that later after the case is built. We'll talk about that in the drawer video. But like the case components, and then like this project takes a lot of secondary material.
Yeah.
All those dang drawers. There's so much secondary material. 700 board feet of hard maple for secondary material for this thing. And it's like a whole stack of wood in my shop. I got it all laid out. I get this shooting. Now I gotta actually like go up there and start chopping stuff up and breaking it down and rough milling it, because it's just the pile of boards in my shop. I can't do anything.
Can't move.
And I mentioned this in the guild video about the lumber selection. I'm like, if you're not filming your own project and you have the space, do this part outside.
Yeah.
Because if you're like in a like 2-car garage shop like me, you don't have room to like lay all your boards out and like look at them all nice all at once. So there's a pro tip: do it outside.
There you go. Nice. That's it.
Right on. I like it.
Good deal.
That's about it.
I'm excited to see that come together.
It's gonna be pretty sweet. I'm really looking forward to it.
I
I'm
am
gonna
too.
be making some cabriole legs pretty soon here, probably tomorrow. Making some legs.
Some sweet
legging it
legs.
up.
Nice.
Curvy.
Did you say what is your primary wood? What species are you going with?
I am going with cherry, Minnesota grown
Nice.
cherry.
Ooh.
The only cherry for me.
Nothing but the best. Nice, man. I can't wait to see
Right
it.
on.
Shannon, what about you?
Well, I'm in Maine. I'm at the Maine house, as people like to make fun of me. I not normally here in June. So to those people that live in Maine year round, how do you deal with the mosquitoes, man? They are ridiculous. Like, I was out for a walk with a dog and it took my hat. Like, took the hat and ran away with it. The mosquitoes are ridiculous up here in June. I hear it's especially bad this year because it's been so wet. But man, it's in a garage, and I have to close the garage door to try to keep the mosquitoes at bay. But it's like turns into suddenly 88 degrees and 112% humidity as the fog rolls in. So I've been sweating,
Sweating, baby.
On the workbench. Before we started recording, I drilled the last dog hole. So my left arm is a little numb right now. I've bored 30 some 3/4 inch holes with a brace and bit. Fortunately, it's in pine, so otherwise my arm would have fallen off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's done. I got to go down and film like 3 more clips, but it's pretty awesome. I like it. I've played around with the Nicholson style before, just like at the Stepping Stone Museum. Obviously, I have a Roubeau bench, but this is the first Nicholson that I built. Super easy. Like I use nothing but construction grade lumber. Didn't bother to like straighten out the edges. You know, construction lumber has the rounded edges and everything. It's just meant to be like your very first bench. If you want to get a little bit more serious than the piece of plywood on some sawhorses, you could do this and build it probably in a weekend. Maybe give yourself a week to do it. If you're not filming, it's a very different issue. But it's rock solid. I mean, when it's all put together, you climb on top of the thing and do some bench surfing, and it doesn't move at all. So
Nice.
I'm very happy with it. I'm excited to have it up here too, because all the work I've done has just been like, clamp it to the post, or clamp the little rickety table, or the tried and true butt clamp where you sit on the board and chisel it and saw it. It's like, and I've gotten so used to working that way that I'm like totally spoiled now with dog holes and holdfasts, and there's no vices on this bench, but still, it's awesome. I'm glad to have gotten it done. And, this has been a working vacation at best. Vacation really shouldn't even be in that.
I love it.
Pretty much all day for the last 4 days, which is just, it's just awesome. Like, is
Yeah.
this what your lives are like without like real jobs?
No, not
This
at
is
all.
I don't
great,
think,
man.
No, I don't think
Get
so.
up in the morning, go to the shop and build and film, and then go and edit video. Oh, it's great.
It is
I
and
love
it
This
isn't.
is all I did.
You're your own worst enemy when you go down that path. I can't complain. I'd rather do this than anything else, but it's not as like joyous as it seems. I will tell you one thing before we kick you off, Shannon. Kill your video stream. Can you unshare your video on Skype so that you're just doing audio, and maybe that'll improve your audio sound. This is the last.
Could be.
Yeah, this is the last.
Yeah, I
thing.
ran a speed test down. I just load this body up here, so that's probably the issue.
Okay. I don't know what you just said.
Right.
Okay, so let's get into. I think the mosquitoes up there are actually chewing through the wires. I think that's what's happening. All right, let's get into what's new. Bunch of great videos came out that came across our paths. I think if you're a woodworker and you're online, you probably saw a few of these that are on here, especially this one. Nick Offerman, you guys know him. He basically did a Twitter reply, sort of, asking woodworking questions through a Twitter account. And, anytime like a very clever, witty sort of comedian does this type of thing, whether it's like on a late night show or whatever, it's funny. But in this case, he's actually answering and legitimately answering woodworking questions, but in his style. Very unique delivery that he has. And it's a ton of fun. You got to watch it. Absolute blast.
Yeah, that was.
Don't stain oak. I hate stain.
Yeah.
It's the best answer.
He does not like stain.
No. Favorite shape of dovetail.
Yeah, the dovetail shape. Actually, it made me realize how many times I would love to reply to someone with, "That's an ignorant question." Like, that takes a pretty big set to do that. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what your answer is after that, you pretty much just angered the person. So when you're Nick Offerman, I guess you could do that. Yeah, he gets on him about grammar and stuff like that too. It's pretty funny. Totally worth a watch though.
It was definitely good, especially if you are actually a woodworker. You'll appreciate it even more, I think.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So, because it was Father's Day yesterday, I saw this sweet video by Bruce Ulrich that he released yesterday, Father's Day.
Ah.
It's a really nice video of his son Alan. I think he was either 7 or 8. He was showing some interest in being on the shop and working in there. So they decided to build a little workbench together. So it was awesome to see. Like, I'm not there yet with my boys, but this, like, them working together and Bruce showing Alan how to actually use these tools. Like, he used the crosscut sled on the table saw, and Bruce is behind him helping him guide it through. But it was a really cool thing to see. Like, that some people might see that as really dangerous. I don't particularly, especially where they had it set up, and then Alan drilling all the holes on the drill press. He was having so much fun drilling all these holes in the drill press and then blowing all the shavings away. Mm-hmm. It was a really cool thing to see, especially because it happened to be Father's Day when I was watching it yesterday.
Yeah. Instead of spending time with your kids, you're watching videos online, right?
They were sleeping. Dude,
I'll tell you, that's the funny thing about Father's Day and Mother's Day as well, is one of the best things you can do for a father or mother on that day is to give them a break from their kids. And that's like the guilty irony of the whole holiday. So that when my son goes, "Dad, it's Father's Day on Sunday. I'm going to spend all day with you." And I'm thinking to myself, like, every other Sunday of my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind. That's my life. And it's great. I love my son. But it's hilarious that he sees it as like, we're going to do something special. And it's like, we're doing the same thing we do every weekend, buddy.
That's true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's hilarious. So like Mother's Day, I try to give Nicole a break. And not the whole day. We do family stuff together, but at least give her a few hours.
Not
to
the
just,
whole day. That'd be crazy. That'd be way too
That'd be
too
nuts.
much.
Yeah. So good stuff. All right. So the next one here is a video by BFO Photo. I got the Vimeo link here. It's called Wood Swimmer, and it's a very visually stimulating video dealing with cross sections of logs and wood, and just kind of you just got to watch it. It's amazing. It's like Mother Nature viewed in a certain aspect that just immediately makes it an art form. And it sounds like an incredibly, as they describe it, a very tedious process to get this footage. So definitely it's worth a watch. Put it in HD, go full screen, and zone out for a couple of seconds because it's pretty awesome.
Nice. Watch that instead of your kids, in other words.
Yep, exactly.
Nice. Chris sent this in. This is from James over at Wood by Wright, and just 3 words: rocket propelled hand plane. Maybe that's 4 words, depending on how you spell it. Just go watch this. This is like, yeah, rocket propelled hand plane.
Why not?
I can't say any more. Just go watch it.
Yeah, go look at it. Why not? All right, last one here is from Al. He says, linseed oil soaked rags catching fire. We actually, I think Nicole brought this up in one of the Friday Lives a couple of weeks ago. We couldn't remember where this link was, so I'm glad this was sent to us because I've been looking for it. So it's a gentleman who caught a linseed oil rag fire on a security cam. So he had left for the day, and you can kind of see the infrared footage on this camera that was recorded, and it was a close call. It was a lucky break if you see the whole video and with the damage that was done. But this is definitely a good shot across the bow for woodworkers and people dealing with oil finishes to how to dispose of them properly. So you definitely want to check that one out.
I don't know how that stayed so contained.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
Terrifying.
Got super, super lucky. Okay, so we got a little bit of kickback here. First one is from Dan. He just wants to say invariably. So, thanks, Dan. I think I agree.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Invariably. All right, this next one's from Tommaso. He says, I'm an engineer and a hobby woodworker, and I know and use both of them. As Bob pointed out, that's Bob Claggett from last week, the huge difference, that wasn't me last week, that was Bob Claggett.
That was not Bob Rogers?
The huge difference, no, Bob Ross.
Okay.
No. The huge difference lies in parametric capability of commercial CAD software, CADIA, UG, to mention a few. The possibility to link dimensions and not only between themselves, he's an engineer and a woodworker, not a grammarian, to incredibly ease the get the right proportion phase of a project. Moreover, it allows to make the design extremely flexible, being able to change the dimension and having all others updated if properly defined. Few examples. Aruba workbench, you can length, width, and all joinery can be maintained while shoulder to shoulder lengths are updated. A simple stair-like shelf I've just completed can change the angle and the step spacing while all other proportions are maintained. Finally, all these changes to the solid model can be translated to the drawing just with a mouse click. All the dimensions updated. The disadvantages, cost, depending on the software, learning curve, even though there are plenty of tutorials for everything out there, I think they're worth a try. Greetings from Italy. Sorry. So you're Italian. I shouldn't make fun of your grammar.
Yeah, you probably had to use a translator to get that on there. Okay. All right, Shannon, I might have to kick you off now because it's getting pretty bad. And it's funny how we get used to Skype working really well. And I think people listening to the show probably get used to us not having any problems like this. But this is a very common podcasting issue. It's just thankfully we don't have to deal with it too often. So Shannon, it was good talking to you, buddy. We're going to let you go, and we'll try to answer your questions as best we can or skip them.
Fine, whatever.
And we'll do your lumber news for you too. Don't worry.
Oh, sweet! Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, push some more teak misinformation into the market. It's good.
Okay, we're just good. We'll make it up. We'll make something up for that. Okay, we'll see you later, Shannon.
See you guys.
Bye. Well, that's a bummer. I was looking forward to hanging out with Shannon, but you know what? Quality is king, as they say.
Got to ease back into him, It's
well, just a little bit. Maybe next time he'll come on for a full show. But you know what? Let's see. Where did we leave off? Okay. So it is the lumber news segment. So let's just do it. Let's see what we can figure out here.
Shannon's Lumber Industry Update.
All right, so we've got a question from, Shannon always does this. He never puts the person's name, so we can't give him credit. Dang it. Okay, so maybe a question for Shannon here, but no, it's for Mark and Matt. What's the deal with teak? I've heard that you can't get real teak anymore due to its being endangered, but obviously I still see teak furniture being sold. So what are they using? What species should I look at if I'm looking to build an outdoor dining table and chairs? Thanks. All right, so teak. Everyone knows this grows in Southern California. Most people grow it in backyards. Some of it's, there are legalities around this. It's not the most legal thing to do, but they do grow it in Southern California, and you can go and harvest this from anyone's backyard whenever you see it. I have no idea what the answer to this question is. Do you, Matt?
I think Shannon has talked about this in the past before, and I'm pretty sure he says, I have no idea. But I'm going to say what I think he said at some point in his life. Like the real teak is like you can't get it anymore, or like it's hard to find, or it's stupid expensive or something. But they're substituting some other thing that's from some other part of the world that is kind of like teak, but it's not real teak.
It's teakish,
teakish, has teak properties. I don't know.
So
composite decking, just use that.
There you go. And I've got. I think people will say like Western red cedar, as an alternative to teak. It's very different. But there are certain woods like that people claim are very good outside. But I've seen that they don't really weather that well, nearly as well as you would think they would. I mean, they weather like any other wood would out there. So I think if you're looking for something really high quality, you're definitely going to have to go to that next level. But I've never even worked with teak. So
me neither.
So we probably shouldn't have even done this, huh?
Hey, it was a good attempt.
It was a good excuse to play the song and to make some crap up. So, maybe
to prove Shannon's value for him.
That's right.
You're welcome,
yeah,
Shannon.
He'll enjoy that for sure. He likes to be valued. Okay, so voicemails here. And I think one of these actually is also for Shannon, so we'll figure out what to do with that later. Okay, first one here is from Alex.
Hey guys, my name's Alex, long-time listener, first-time caller. I actually want to say thank you to the Harry Giggler and to the other two guys for putting on such a great show. You guys definitely make sanding, showering, finishing, riding my bike, trying to ignore my girlfriend a lot more bearable. I actually have a question for you guys. I'm sure as your channels have grown, people contact you in the hopes that they'll be able to get custom pieces from you guys. And I know that your guys' end game is content creation. But as a young business owner and maker, should I attempt to make content to boost my business, or should I continue on the current path I'm on, making custom pieces, social media, business cards, and word of mouth? Thanks, guys, for everything, and I look forward to more shows.
I would say this is kind of a gut check, right? What do you want to get more into? I think if you keep going down the content generation path, there is a degree of that, that's valuable to a business. It's what content marketing is. Oddly enough, though, content marketing is what is our business. Whereas if you were in sort of a furniture building business where you want to sell the furniture, content marketing becomes part of your marketing strategy. So it's kind of just built into what we do, and we don't have to think about it too much. But I think any company these days would be silly not to try to dip their toes into social content marketing of some type. And if you're making it yourself, all the better. There's just really great benefits to doing that. It makes a whole lot of sense, but you do have to make sure you stay true to your bottom line. Now think about a big company. Big companies, generally, they know what their core competency is. They know what they're there for. As individuals, we could change gears. I started as a furniture maker, building to try to get clients to build furniture for them, and then eventually converted to content. You're not going to find, take it to an extreme. You're not going to really find Coca-Cola necessarily suddenly going, you know what? Hey, this soda thing was working out, but I'll tell you what, let's start doing YouTube videos. You know what I mean? They know what their core thing is. So I think as a single individual or a very small business, you can pivot and you can change, and that can very well happen. So if you go too far down this content thing and start finding that to be more fun maybe, or more interesting, or possibly more profitable, it may change the direction of your business. So I think the first thing you need to do is determine what you actually want out of it, because things could change before you realize what's happening. But I think it would be a mistake not to at least get into some content marketing to help promote your business. What do you think about that, Matt?
I think any modern business that wants to survive in this generation, this day and age, I mean, there is so much potential there that you didn't have 20 years ago for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally, you're literally open to the entire world for essentially free.
Yeah.
You essentially pay for the generation of the content, your time in this case, but I mean, you're not paying to post it anywhere. You're not paying to post it on Instagram. You're not paying to post it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I can say for like, I don't know, like a word of caution is just be careful of like how far into it you get without understanding exactly what you want to get out of it, because content generation is extremely time consuming if you want to do a good job of it, and you can very easily skew too far away. So if you really wanted to focus on furniture making, you could easily skew your time away from that part of your business that actually generates your income for you.
Yeah. And you get into like stat chasing, and then you have to determine if those stats and the views that you're getting, are they actually translating to sales or brand awareness? I mean, there's a lot to it, and it's a rabbit hole once you go down that. You know, the funny thing is, like, as an interesting aside, scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I think it was Vanderlist who shared this, a video of a family and 2 little girls, mom and dad, and they're opening up a can of some kind of canned fish.
Yes.
You saw that?
Yes. Oh my God, that was so funny.
It's hilarious. It's like the stinkiest, most horrible smelling thing you've ever smelled in your life. Enough that they just cracked the can, and you could see the wife doing that. She's holding back, throwing up, right? And it's friggin' hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a while, but it really is a genuine thing of this family just going through it. And the father was saying, I'm going to actually be the one to taste it. And he had to get to that point. And the video is like, it's long. You know, it's
almost 6 minutes long.
Yeah. So you're sitting through this whole thing. I was about 3/4 of the way through it before I even realized they were all wearing Farmers Insurance T-shirts. And the guy is apparently some kind of insurance broker of some sort. And it's a Farmers Insurance, thing. Like, this is this guy's business. So this video has nothing to do with insurance. Yet it's such a brilliant moment, and it's obviously all set up, but it worked, and it's funny. And this is something that, maybe it won't necessarily directly translate to sales right this second, but that it was just an interesting way to go about it. So you do have to sometimes think outside the box.
When I think of like an insurance salesman that I want to deal with, he's my guy.
Yeah, that's a guy you wouldn't mind calling, right?
I wouldn't mind. Like I'm in there. Like let's eat some stinky fish together or something, because like he looks like a fun dude, and I would like working with him.
Yeah,
on a
seriously.
personal level and professional level as well, I feel.
Right. Yeah.
So let me get the number off his shirt or wherever he had his phone number.
But the funny thing is, how great is that it wasn't until like about halfway through it, which you would think would be counterproductive to what is effectively trying to be an ad. But the fact that that's the way it happens means it's getting legitimate laughs, and if you don't notice, they're not hitting you in the head with it. It actually can be a more effective ad that way. It's really interesting. So, anywho, I think that's about it. Let's go to Ashley's question about upholstery.
Hi guys, it's Ashley again. I'm the one who had the question on SketchUp last week. I'm calling because I could really use some advice, but I also wanted to hear Mark's Seinfeld impersonation again. Okay, so here it goes. What's the deal with upholstery? Go ahead, Mark.
What's the deal with upholstery?
Okay, so the reason I ask is I'm finally getting around to sending
right?
this green and green inspired footstool I made for a class back in February to an upholsterer. I'd love to do it myself, but I just can't seem to find any good resources on to learn how, aside from just random places on YouTube. So do you guys have any suggestions on what are some of the, definitive resources out there for learning upholstery techniques? And I don't know, all this has got me wondering, why is it so hard to find information on upholstery? I mean, as opposed to, say, finishing. I don't really know anybody who really enjoys finishing, to be honest. Yet when it comes time to covering all that wood with cloth and not shellac, people just seem to draw the line and say, no, I'm not going to do that. So again, what's the deal with upholstery? Are we all just okay with making uncomfortable chairs, or what? So I know I've gone on a little long, and I kind of snuck in a 2-part question, and I know you guys hate that, so go ahead and mock me appropriately or inappropriately. And anyone who wants to troll me online, you can find me at Modernist Maker on both Twitter and Instagram, and as Ashley MC on the Hand Tool School. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So what is the deal with upholstery? It's actually, I think, a very good question. Because I've kind of observed the same thing. Like I've dipped my toes into upholstery. I've done a few things, and I'm a total hack at it. But if I can get a passable result, that's great. Most of the time, if you look for upholstery videos, it's typically not great. It's usually like the DIY perspective where someone's just kind of ripping a seat off a chair, keeping the old fabric on there and just wrapping it again and grabbing their Stanley staple gun and whack, whack, whack. And then they're like, look, it's beautiful. So I agree. Is it one of those industries where, maybe it's like it's deeper and the secrets are a little bit more protected? People don't want to share the information, or maybe it's not enough people that are interested in it. I don't know.
Shannon sent us a book on upholstery.
Oh, we did? Oh,
Yes.
he's listening
So
live. Hey, he can still contribute. Great.
There is a book apparently, which is Upholstery, a complete course by David James.
Yeah, but who reads books?
Shannon and old people. I'm sorry. Says that upholstery book is considered to be the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
But where's the video? Where's the video version?
This is for old people.
Okay. Where did he send that to you? Is it in Skype?
This is in the live chat.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think from an upholstery perspective, like I've never done any myself, but the only time I've ever seen it done is like part of another build on like a YouTube video or something. Like probably the best one I've seen is the one that you did for the armchair.
Oh, for the Morris chair, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like other than that, it's literally like I went down to Joanne Fabric, got some pleather and some foam, and have a piece of plywood and a staple gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it.
Well, see, and that's the trap to an extent. Like, I even approach this as, well, look, it's not that difficult. Let's just do it. And there are things that I've had done professionally, but I'll be the first to admit, there's a big difference between what I do and what a professional upholsterer will do. Just in terms of getting everything to look right, to get the underlayment the right shape, to get it to fold over and crease properly. But I think if you do it yourself, it gets like 75% of the way there to a passable result that most people would be okay with. And that might be one of the reasons why most of us just go, like, here, I don't know, let's look at painting, for instance. Do you have to be a professional painter to paint your wall? I mean, or does the average person go, well, I can buy a roller, I can get a brush and a little tray and go buy a gallon from Home Depot and I could paint that wall and it'll probably look fine. But a professional could have done a better job, but it's something we think we can tackle ourselves. I mean, does it fall into that kind of thing? I don't know.
You might have a good point there. Maybe a lot. I don't know. Most upholstery, you're sitting on it, so I don't know. You don't notice it. You don't. I mean, do you really just like? Let me go pick up my cushion here out of this chair and turn it over and make sure the creases flow right around the corner nicely and
Yeah.
that it's all consistent. No.
Good enough.
I guess, but which is kind of funny because you can say exactly the same thing to the work that we do. Like most people will not appreciate it
Yeah.
because they don't really understand or look at it or know it to that extent. So it's interesting. This is an interesting comparison of these two things.
It is. And the fact that there is a segment of like crafting something, this whole upholstery thing, that is kind of absent. Outside of just the crappy upholstery videos, there's maybe a few. I think I saw a Paul Sellers video on doing an upholstered seat. If you go to Find Woodworking, I just did a search there. They've got several articles on it, like 3 or 4 articles on doing upholstery. And I know I could have sworn one of the big companies, like woodworking companies, recently did an upholstery for furniture DVD. Almost positive, but I cannot remember who or where. So look for that. I mean, there's going to be resources out there. It's just you got to dig a little bit deeper. And I don't think we have an answer for why this hasn't necessarily penetrated the market the way other things have. All right, who do we have next? Chris. Okay, do you know anything about wood planes? Like current vendors of wood planes?
They are made of wood.
Very good. Okay, that's a good start. Chris has a question about that. Let's save that for next week. Shannon's probably more familiar with vendors that are available for something like that. Okay, so if you want to send us a voicemail for a future show, you can just send us a voice memo with your phone to woodtalkonline@gmail.com. And now we're going to get into our email. So Michael Ebner wrote in and he says, A question for Mark. With stage 2 of your shop set up, you now have your planes, chisels, etc. on the wall, open and exposed to moisture and humidity that you don't have to deal with back in Arizona. So I need to know, what's your plan to prevent rust? While my shop is in a garage and I would love to have easy access to my hand tools, I keep my expensive planes in my air-conditioned basement, and it's a pain in the butt going back and forth. Thanks, Michael. Okay, he didn't say where he's from, did he? No, he did not.
No.
Okay, so, well, here's the thing. The dirty little secret is that Arizona and Colorado are just not that different in terms of humidity. And that's sort of a misconception. It was drier here this winter, our first winter here. It was drier here than it has been to any time I recall in Arizona. And Arizona gets dry, but it was drier here. Like, we had trouble adjusting. Now, it has picked up the humidity a little bit, but we're talking like 30%, it's topping out at. Now, I'm sure
Pretty dry.
yeah, we'll have some days where it's, going to be higher, and there's probably wetter parts of the summer season we haven't gotten to yet. So I haven't experienced those. But to my knowledge, just in general, if you look at the yearly profile of the area, you're not looking at a humid climate. So I don't really anticipate there being many problems with my tools on the walls. If there are any problems, I don't think it's going to be enough that I have to worry about T9 bow shield and going all out to protect these things. Probably just a coat of wax, a little bit. I just reordered a can of Renaissance wax today. Maybe a little jojoba oil or something if I wanted to oil up my planes. But I think
Jojoba oil, is that like what Saint Nick uses?
Yeah, jojoba oil. Yeah, that's what it is. And good one, Matt.
Continue. Hey, I'm doing my part to derail this conversation.
Yeah, you should really be a comedy writer, I think. I think that's your gig, baby.
I write for Wood Talk.
There you go. You write and perform. So yeah, I think that's about all I would have to do. But I guess people in more humid climates, it might be a concern, and that's why you'd want to have these things in a cabinet. But for me, again, having them on the wall, accessible, nothing beats that. It looks cool. If you have the real estate to be able to utilize for that, there's nothing better than being able to turn around, grab a chisel, throw it on the wall when you're done, and it helps me keep everything a lot cleaner, being able to do that. So that's my thing.
I would have to learn that last part. Throwing it back.
Putting it back when you're done. It is, it's so tempting. I think we all probably have this problem, but I had to install a little kid swing in the basement. So I needed my drill. I've got a stud finder, a pencil, just a couple things, a screwdriver, and I've installed it, and I walk back into the shop, and I know I have to go all the way to the other end to put 2 or 3 of those things away. So what do? The MFT is right there. I just throw everything on the MFT, and I'm like, I'll get that later. It's it would have taken 2 seconds for me to put that stuff up and away so that it's that much cleaner in the shop. But no, I got other things to do. It's so lazy.
Same. It's the same thing with me. If I do something in the house with my tools, it migrates to the kitchen table, and then Lindsay will be like, get this out of here. So she puts it on the kitchen counter, and then eventually she'll get sick of seeing it there, so she'll bring it and dump it down here somewhere, and then I'll eventually bring it out and dump it on my assembly table in my shop, and then from there, very unlikely to get put away. It'll probably get moved from the assembly table onto some other horizontal surface for a while, and then maybe I'll need it again, and then I'll just go back up to the beginning again.
Yeah.
Instead of actually making it back to its home.
Totally. Totally derailing this even further. So let me know if your wife does this too. So the kitchen, right? It's got an island, and that island gets full of crap. And Nicole's favorite thing to do is, this island is loaded down with jackets. It's got loose change. It's got toys, all kinds of crap just collected from the week is sitting there. And I have a tape measure sitting somewhere amongst it. And she comes in there and she's just so fed up with this mess. And she goes, when is this tape measure going back in the shop? And I'm like, what about all this other stuff? That's the only thing there that you could possibly say is mine. But that's the difference maker. Let me go put that back. So not to throw my wife under the bus, but I find that hilarious.
Oh, not quite there yet. I think all of the stuff is my crap.
Right. You're the big kid right now, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Kids
anyway,
don't throw stuff on the counter yet. We're not quite there
okay.
yet.
Yeah, you'll get there. 2 boys, you're gonna have your hands full. Yeah,
that's true.
Let's get us back on track.
I picked 2 emails today because I saw this one pop in, and I figured it'd be a quick thing to kind of knock off the thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Nate. He says, 2 questions. So actually, I have a few questions for email this week anyway.
Woo.
So let's first email from Nate. 2 questions. What do your neighbors think of your mill? And if when you do move from your current home, where would you go? Farm out of town like Canadian woodworker setup. That's Paul Miskey. I'm curious as I live in the Minneapolis area and I dream someday having a mill myself. Also, how would you move your sawmill? All right, I'm gonna work backwards here. Episode 383, we talked about how I'm gonna move my sawmill and what I'm gonna do if I have to move, which I plan to. Let's see, backwards here. I am looking for somewhere with not probably a farm because fields don't really do me much good. Kind of want some wooded land. So we're looking, the further out you go, cheaper it gets, the more land you can get for that same amount of money. But we're also like restrained by like how far I want my wife to drive to work every day. So kind of our radius is the same radius we are from her work right now, about 40 minutes by drive from Stillwater, Minnesota. So we're looking somewhere along the St. Croix River would be nice. And again, I say these things because we are not in a financial position to do this yet. But, dreaming is fun. And
Yes.
yes. And the first question I'm answering last, what do your neighbors think you're a mill? I think we've beaten this one to death before. But if you go to my shop update from last week, my neighbors watch my videos and you'll find a comment from one of them
Nice.
on that video.
Sweet.
So there's that. All right. Real question time. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Nate. Sorry to mock you a little bit.
It's what we do.
All right. This is from Charles. He says, I can't see, my mic's in the way. All right. 2 different 200-plus-year-old live oak trees are down after a storm at 2 different friends' homes. Exposed surfaces look awesome on both trees. I'm thinking about trying to slab the live oak. It would be a sizable undertaking. These are some massive timbers. I would have to break down into 2-foot-wide manageable timbers just to start the milling process. I have a 121cc. Yes, 121 cc's. I say go big or go home. Chainsaw mill, tractor, track hoe, etc. So I have the equipment to handle these timbers. Apparently you don't if you got to cut them down first.
Yeah, you don't brag after saying you can't do something.
All right, that was enough snarkiness for that moment.
But Shannon's not here. We got to make up for the snark.
I'm trying. I'm really trying. That was the setup. Now for the question for discussion. I have read on the internet that the amount of twist and hardness of live oak limits the usefulness to get usable lumber, much less build anything that lasts without the item tearing itself apart due to twisting. But most of these sites were commercial in nature. I'm not sure as a private hobbyist the cost and time to deal with the twist and wood waste to overcome the twist after drying is a worry. Am I underestimating the amount of wood twist in live oak after drying? Am I just setting myself for a great disappointment? Do you guys have experience milling raw live oak or building with live oak as opposed to red or white oak? I would hate to just chop it up for firewood. Then again, I would feel even worse if I ended up with 20 board feet of wood and 2 train cars of wood chips and shavings to try to overcome twist. So I have not milled live oak. It does not grow around here, but I have heard this before, and this is one of those things like I would love to get my hands on one of these logs just to mill it up and see what it's like. Now, there are plenty of species that have a lot of tendency to move and distort when drying. So I thought that I would at least mention that if anyone has milled live oak successfully, send us some kickback so we can actually provide some real information. But I thought I would speculate a little bit about what I would do to at least try and get a good result. So with most oaks, I think, well, I'm going to say all oak, it's a really slow drying wood, so you need to let it dry slowly. So when it was milled and I set up to dry, I would try and dry it as slowly as possible and not try and accelerate that at all. So keep the airflow to a minimum, just enough to prevent any surface mold from forming, and just gradually let it dry so it doesn't. You don't end up inducing any drying stress into it, which is only compounding things. I would also use a crap ton of weight, like a lot more weight on top of it than I normally would. As much weight as you could possibly put on top of the stuff to hold it down flat to whatever foundation you're putting it on. And after all of that, hopefully it will stay flat and not move too much. But the really nice thing about live oak is just it's really beautiful. Like, this is why I wanted to get my hands on it, because if you look at the pictures of it online, it just looks like it's like no oak you've ever seen before. But it has a hint of oak, but it's like beautiful oak. I don't know how to describe it. Go look at a picture of it.
It's not
It
ugly
looks
oak.
amazing. It's incredibly hardwood to deal with and work with. But I think just the beauty of it, I think it'd be justified. But as a small producer, like you don't necessarily need to worry as much as someone that's trying to produce it on a commercial scale, because it's just you at the end of the day. So maybe you get a whole bunch of bottle stopper blanks.
There you go. That's at least something. Very nice. All right. Well, we are going to embark on an email extra after we're done here. That's for our $4 and higher patrons over at patreon.com/woodtalk. And I think today we're going to talk about food safe finishing. Do we need to care? It's a good question. I think we'll delve into that later. I was actually going to answer the question, but then realized that would be really stupid. Okay, so if you want to support us, you can do that. Go to patreon.com/woodtalk. You can also buy a t-shirt at the, I almost said Woodtalk store, the Wood Whisperer store. That's twwstore.com. And you can even leave us a review on iTunes if you wanted to. Just look us up in the store, click on ratings and reviews, and you can leave that review right there. And Shannon's not here to do the contact info. So Matt, 2 weeks in a row.
This is crazy.
Yeah, do
Shannon, watch out. I'm coming for your job.
Sweet.
All right. Comments, questions, or top suggestions. You have several different ways to contact us. Send us a voicemail using our voice memo app at woodtalkonline@gmail.com. You can use our fancy contact form at woodtalkshow.com/contact and leave us a comment on our website at woodtalkshow.com. You can catch us on Twitter at woodtalkshow as well as on Facebook. And don't forget, this show is made possible through the generous support of our listeners. You can be cool too and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/woodtalk. And don't forget to check us out individually at thewoodwhisperer.com, renaissancewoodworker.com, and giantbandsawmill.com.
Sweet. Listen to you reading fast.
Hey, if it's something I've heard like numerous times,
Yeah, I got you.
no problem.
A little bit familiar.
Right
I got you. Yeah, nicely
Something
done.
someone else wrote, I'm reading for the first time. No chance.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
See ya.
All right. You know what? I'm never going to edit any of that stuff out from Shannon's feed getting messed up. We didn't dwell on it too long, so I don't feel like doing any work. Hey, Shannon, if you're listening, you still got to do the show notes, you turd. Don't think you're getting away with it.
Oh, he's giving us crap for not answering Matt's question about his gouge.
What? I don't want to answer that stupid question.
Perfect.
See?
Email extra.
All right, so we're going to skip to the weekend show.
What's this one about?
Let's see.
Oh, this.
All right. Andy, friend who is new to woodworking. Okay.
Oh, Shannon.
Wood
Oh,
talk.
man.
What's he saying? I'm going to go to the chat room.
Oh, man.
He's talking smack?
Oh, yeah.
Stop talking smack, Shannon.
He's good at that.
Ooh, a Festool commercial plays in front of our live video.
Oh, nice. How appropriate.
Did he just call me a jackass? Can't deny that.
Oh, man.
I'm going to get some fresh water. I'll be right back.
I don't know if Shannon's going to fix his connection before the weekend. I don't know. It might be broken all week. So, this is the Matt show now, I guess. What do you guys want me to talk about? Just watch the chat, I guess. Yeah, the weekend will be here in 5 minutes. 5 minutes for the weekend.
Dude, Poor Ava.
What's up?
Ava is a week out from her last series of antibiotics for a double ear infection, and like last night she started to get a mild fever, or 2 nights ago, and we're just, let's take her in. Let's just make sure we get ahead of this thing. Once again, double ear infection. So she's on a different antibiotic. She's on her way to ear tubes, like Mateo was. I don't know what else we're gonna do. I can't stand that stuff. Sucks.
I'm lucky, I guess. Don't have to deal with that.
Man, it's weird because
Sounds worse for you guys.
it's suddenly like it just hits them, and then they can't shake it. You know, they're fine up until a certain point and never have one, and then boom, out of nowhere. And I don't think I ever had an ear infection as a kid. Maybe I did. And it was like mild, not a big deal, but it was never a problem for either me or Nicole. Kids these days just can't take their infections, man. They can't handle their bacteria. Okay.
Daniel was asking if Shannon was going to get his internet connection fixed before the weekend.
He should. You would think with the 5 days to get this stuff done, he could get it fixed up, but I'm going to predict probably not. Okay. Let's do a show. Weekend show. Here we go.
Welcome to the Wood Talk Weekend Show. It's time to unbutton those pants, crack open a fresh grape soda, and let the soothing sounds of Mark, Shannon, and Matt caress your ear holes.
Yeah, baby. It's Wood Talk number 392 for June 23rd, 2017. And it's a weekend show, which means we're in such a good mood. And here's the thing. You would think that Shannon would have had his internet fixed, you know, between Monday and Friday, but no, he still has not. So he is not with us today. We will do our best to answer the question and keep the good times rolling. So Andy wrote in. He says, a friend who is new to woodworking. I was going to make fun of him, and turns out I'm the idiot. It is funny. Like when something goes wrong, my instinct is to immediately blame someone else, even if it's most likely my fault. Okay, so a friend who was new to woodworking called me to ask for help because he was frustrated, so I went over to his house to help him. While we were going through the steps of the project, where there were several instances where I did multiple cuts on a piece of scrap wood or on the end of a board that I knew would be cut off for the final to sneak up on the fit. It was a eureka moment for him, and I realized that a lot of his information comes from watching sped-up YouTube videos, and he just assumed that those builders just used the old adage to measure twice, cut once. It made me realize that often, for fine woodworking, my method of work is to measure once and cut 2 or 3 times. What are your thoughts? Well, I can speak for myself here. I definitely do that as well. You might even cut out the measuring step, because I might not even measure. I may just simply, put the workpiece up to the space, give it a little tick mark with my pencil, cut it once to get close, double check, cut it a second time, and maybe worst case scenario a third time. So I don't do that for everything. Certain parts are measured, especially more toward the beginning of the project when you want to define its overall dimensions. But there is a certain point where it's like, I don't care what the number is. It either fits or it doesn't. And I don't know, I know you do that to some extent too, right, Matt?
Oh, a heavy extent.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do you ever feel like it's wasteful to do that? Like a waste of time to do it? Or it would be faster to do it another way?
I don't think it's a waste of time. I will say that if I cut something and it's going in on the first try, I have a crap my pants kind of moment. 'Cause this could be too short.
Yeah. Because one false move and it would have been too short. So
Yeah, exactly. But no, I don't. I think that's I already forgot this adage or whatever. But there's a difference between precision and accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't remember what the heck the whole thing was with that, but it sounds like that would play in pretty well to this discussion had I done some research and looked it up ahead of time.
You may have wanted to.
If I didn't read the topic right before we started the show, then I probably would have.
Okay, you can look it up now. Well, wait.
Are you speaking to me or the audience?
No, you can do it now. I'll just wait.
I thought we were just gonna drop it there and you're gonna take the conversation somewhere else.
Okay, so I'll do that for you. How about that? So I think the thing is, if at least the way I see this is a safeguard. It's almost an insurance policy, because if I try to hit a measurement, you're assuming you measured correctly, right? So even if I measure twice, but I've got the wrong measurement, I could still get the piece too short. And that's where the problem happens. And then you're even worse off because now you got to get another piece of wood and probably have to do some milling on it to get it to the exact same dimensions and then cut it again. So I think there's a little bit of a security blanket aspect that woodworkers or some woodworkers like to employ, sneaking up on the fit, because it's almost impossible to go too far. And if you do go too far, it's usually by a very, very small amount. So like the fit, if it's off, it's only going to be slightly off. And again, I just feel like if you're measuring, you got to make sure that your measurement is dead on. How many times you measure something? I mean, certainly in the beginning of my woodworking, I would measure something and go, okay, that's exactly this. I think I've got it, like at least visually to the nearest 64th maybe. And then I go and make the cut and it's not fitting as tight as I wanted it to. And I think there's a little bit of that parallax shift that can happen sometimes with different things. If you're off on a different angle, it might be different. And I think that people may not estimate appropriately for what a snug fit is, because a snug fit is actually making contact, right? So if you cut something to fit between two things, it's very easy to cut too far because of that measurement you took looks like it should have been cut to that point. So to me, again, it's just making up for the fact that I think it's human nature to actually measure things slightly incorrectly.
Yeah, especially with if you talk about like sneaking up on things, like your ability to actually measure something to the precision that's necessary to get that snug fit is probably impossible.
I mean, it's in the
visually.
Thousandths, right? I mean, before the difference between something being too tight, a snug fit, and too loose, that range is within the thousandths range.
Yeah, so you're talking about accuracies even greater than 128th at that point. So, I mean, like, the graduations on your ruler don't even go that small. I mean, you have to look between the lines of your 64th scale or whatever. That's like...
Yeah, so you're saying my Fat Max won't do it?
I mean, you might get lucky a few times.
The lines themselves are so thick on those things.
But I mean, because it's a really interesting parallel, because when I first started woodworking, I think most people, when we first started woodworking, we measured everything. And I never really understood why that was, but more recently I've given it some thought, and I think it's because of our upbringing into more of a lot of us probably started more I don't know, let's say carpentry. If you're doing wall framing or whatever, it doesn't have to be that precise, and it's a lot more awkward and difficult to take your workpieces to whatever you're trying to fit them to and make a mark and then cut them to that length. You're always going to be measuring stuff because that's way more convenient and you don't need that accuracy. So from that experience, you start making furniture and you start measuring everything because that's what you know, and that's kind of what you started off building stuff with this whole system. But it's wrong. I'm sorry.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. I think the wrong way to do it.
Your initial instinct when you hear about that methodology, you might go, I don't know, maybe at least to me a little bit, it sounds amateur. You know what I mean? I'm not going to measure this perfectly and just cut it perfectly. I'm actually going to cut it 5 times and then get the perfect fit. It almost, excuse me. Oh, I was trying to stifle it, but sometimes it's just got to come out. It sounds like an amateur move. Do you know what I mean? You're not good enough to hit it on the first shot, so you're going to sneak up on it and take 4 or 5 cuts to get there. It's a misconception. I don't believe that it is an amateur thing to do, but the impression of someone who's getting into this thinking that the guys who are really good at this are just nailing it. Maybe the people you're watching on YouTube in the sped up video, for instance, you don't see them cutting 4 or 5 times. It looks like they're just cutting once. So you just assume that's how a good woodworker does it.
I wonder if the perspective would change if they were using a shooting board as opposed to just cutting it to length on, I'm assuming, I don't know, a chop saw or table saw or something. Because if you saw someone pull out a shooting board and a shooting plane or just any plane for shooting, that seems like it wouldn't be an amateurish thing.
No, that's a very fancy thing to do. But it's effectively the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what you do when you're shooting things.
Yeah, I would love to hear from people. How many of you employ the sneak up on the fit methodology? Do you see it as an amateur way to go? Or should we be able to be better than it? Should we be able to measure more accurately? I personally don't think so, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it. If someone disagrees, especially, how you like to do this stuff would be very interesting to hear. I think what you might actually have the Incra camp, for instance, who might have something to say about this because they have tools that can hit certain things like a little bit better than we can by just nudging, a coarsely adjusted fence or something like that. So if you have those systems in place, you might be able to build to spec a little bit more, accurately than we're talking about here. So interesting stuff. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
Next weekend.
Next
or
weekend.
Weekday.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Who knows? You just never know.
We might catch you. Who knows?
All right. So I'm going to save that one. And we will get the live stream. I'm going to kill it. Hey, thanks everybody in the live stream. See you guys later.
Bye.
Someone says Matt has a couple of videos where his wife makes things.
I do.
He do have those. I'll put